We're going to explore a fundamental shift in how we think about law. You see, in our digital world, the old legal blueprints, they just don't fit anymore. We need to start thinking about a completely new architecture.
This video summary is based on the works of Professor Vihar Kiskinov, who lays out a compelling new framework for understanding law in the information society. So here's our plan. We'll start with the new reality law is facing. Then we'll see what happens when old law tries to go digital and why our traditional theories are starting to break down. After that, we'll dive into the proposed solution, this idea of building a virtual legal reality. And finally, we'll look at what this all means for the future. Let's begin. To begin, it's so important to grasp the sheer scale of this change. This isn't just about new gadgets or apps. We're talking about an entirely new social environment that's being constructed all around us. And this is the core idea. Professor Kiskinov calls this new space virtual reality. It's a world built entirely from information, a constructed environment. But, and this is the crucial part, despite being digital, it has very real social and legal consequences. This is the new territory our legal systems now have to navigate.
So what happens when you take legal rules that are, in some cases, centuries old, and try to squeeze them into this brand new virtual world? As you might imagine, you get some serious friction.
Let's use a familiar example: government. The shift to e-government sounds simple, maybe like just putting forms online, but it's a total transformation. For example, Bulgaria's e-government act required them to redesign nearly 2,000 legal procedures. This move from paper and manual work to automated digital systems forces a complete rethink of how a legal act is even created.
This traffic camera example shows something pretty incredible: legal rules being enforced directly by technology. There isn't a human officer making a judgment call when the ticket is created. The system itself analyzes the facts, applies the rule, and generates a legally binding document. This is a massive departure from how law has traditionally operated.
But the challenge is even broader. The digital world has created entirely new things that law has to deal with. We now have new kinds of property, like domain names. We have new kinds of conflict, like cyber attacks. And maybe most importantly, we have a new kind of legal fact. Every single click you make online generates personal data, which turns almost everything we do into a legally significant event. And this brings us to the core of the problem. It's not just that a few laws are out of date. The issue is that the entire theoretical foundation of our legal system, our basic way of thinking about law, is failing in this new reality. For centuries, legal science has organized law into a very neat hierarchy. You have individual rules or norms at the bottom. Those group together into what are called institutes, like contract law. And those, in turn, form the major branches, like civil law. It's a very vertical, top-down system. But these new concepts completely shatter that tidy structure. Take personal data law. It's not a single branch of law. It affects everything, from your employment contract to evidence in court to how you interact with the government. It cuts horizontally right across that old vertical system, and the traditional model just doesn't know what to do with it. This all reveals a fundamental failure in method. Traditionally, legal science is inductive. It watches how society behaves, then it creates rules to regulate that behavior, and then it builds theories about it. It's reactive. But in the digital world, these phenomena are designed and built. We can't wait to react. We have to be proactive and construct the legal framework so that these systems work correctly from day one. So, if the old approach is failing, what's the alternative? This brings us to Professor Kiskinov's central idea, a paradigm shift toward consciously building what he terms a virtual legal reality. Let's break that down. A virtual legal reality isn't something that just happens by accident. It's the goal of a new, proactive legal science. It means we have to intentionally design the rules, the enforcement mechanisms, and even the basic concepts that govern our digital world. It's really about becoming architects, not just observers. This table makes the contrast really clear. We're moving from an inductive method to a constructive one, from a goal of observing and classifying to a goal of building and enabling. And this leads to the most profound shift of all, viewing law not just as a system to be described, but as a system to be engineered. That's a fundamental change in the purpose of legal science. Embracing this new role for legal science has huge implications for the future, and the stakes couldn't be higher. This is the ultimate takeaway. The very future of the rule of law depends on our ability to embed our legal principles into the technology that runs our world. Because if legal science fails to do this, the rules will still get written, but they'll be written by programmers and system architects, not by our democratic legal processes.
So, let's recap the key points. The digital age has created a new environment for law. Our old reactive theories just can't keep up. This means legal science has to become proactive and constructive, with the ultimate goal of engineering a virtual legal reality that upholds our principles online. And this leaves us with a final, crucial question. This transformation is already happening. The structures of our digital world are being built as we speak. So the question isn't if we'll have a new legal reality, but rather who will be its architects, and what principles will they use to build it.